He's a man with a purpose, is he not? Perfect. And now he takes one of the most splendid strolls in sport.
Okay, come on.
Vern for now. They take Matisse over to the Jones cabin where he'll wait, and here's Mickelson closing with a birdie. He played a beautiful round of golf today, and I think had you told him 68 before the day, he might have believed that would be good enough to win.
It's taken some exceptional golf by some wonderful players today to beat Phil Mickelson. He put on a nice performance today, just a little too late with those birdies, particularly the one here at 18.
He's going to finish third for the third straight year. Furyk has this putt for par. Pretty much got fourth locked down anyway. He's 3 clear. Els, Singh, Maggart. All at 1 under. That's a 68 for Furyk also. Boy, those two had a delightful afternoon, except for looking up at the scoreboard, seeing what others were doing. And that's Mickelson's lowest final round ever at Augusta.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the cabin and then warm up. We'll be up for the playoff. We got about 30 minutes.
Well, let's walk you over.
All right, let's do
Come on.
Hey, Jimmy.
With his caddy Jeff Weber, also a Jacksonville resident. His wife Kristen and family here this week, and there have been some agonizing waits through the years in the Jones cabin.
Well, they really have. Jim and Lynn would like to get back out and warm up. If there's a playoff, he would like to go be ready to play, because Mike Weir will be coming straight off the golf course and be ready to play, still in his routine.
Matisse shoots 65 on the anniversary, 17-year anniversary of Jack Nicklaus's final round 65. Back out to you, Vern, 16.
All right, Mike Weir has acknowledged the birdie of Jeff Maggart just a moment ago, now gathering his concentration and his thoughts. He's got 10 feet for the lead on Sunday in Augusta. No.
Still tied with 2 to go. Matisse birdied the 16th from roughly the same distance, but it was a much straighter putt.
This one had a ton of break to it, Lenny.
Yes, it did, Vern, and this putt is always slower than it looks. Always. It's much more uphill coming from this angle.
Mike Weir, Len Matisse, 7 under par in the final round.
I'm 9 now, but when I was 8, I'd do things I wasn't supposed to. In golf, you actually have to follow the rules.
You don't talk when people are putting.
Always repair the ball mark, even if it's not yours.
If someone's putting, you don't walk in their line.
You keep your own score, so you have to know how to act.
And you gotta tell the truth.
Put a golf club in kids' hands and watch them grow.
If you do certain things that you're not supposed to, you get a shot added to your score. You don't want to do those things.
You have to learn from your mistakes to get better.
When you hit a bad shot, you just have to deal with it. Do better on the next hole. That's all there is to it.
At the First Tee, we teach kids important values that will have an impact on their communities and the rest of their lives. At more than 100 facilities all across the country, the First Tee has been able to reach hundreds of thousands of kids.
If it wasn't for golf, I'd be like my friends, a couch potato.
The First Tee. Find out how you can help.
On the tee at the 17th, 425, a hole that was lengthened 5 years ago. It's now a narrower fairway. The fairway used to be 60 yards wide, no trees on the right between the 17th fairway and the 15th, which comes in the other direction. +2 on holes 17 and 18 this week. Find the fairway and then make your choice in regards to the tight hole position. Started down the right, a fade for the left-hander. And beautifully done. Worked very hard this winter after a disappointing 2002 season. He'd had a win in each of the 3 previous seasons. He was really an established player. Randina, an oriental shrub. 17th hole is named after that. The Eisenhower tree down the left, named for the former President Eisenhower, who campaigned to have the tree taken down. He hit it so often. Uphill to the landing area here, and then one of the more difficult putting surfaces at Augusta National. Very difficult back right pin place from yesterday, just 2 birdies. Much more accessible for birdies today, just over the bunker. We're going to the 18th.
And the 2-time defending champion is coming home with a disappointing Sunday, which you seldom see. He went out in 39 and came undone with his tee shot at the 3rd hole today and led to a double.
Don't often see Tiger make bad decisions, but I think it's definitely a bad decision that cost him today. And Lenny Matisse wanting to go get ready right now. He's set. He's telling the officials he has sat in the cabin long enough, Jim. He does not want to sit in there and get stiff.
Mark, we'll ride approach back here. What you want to do?
I think the only cabin he wants to see right now is the Butler cabin. In about a half hour.
We got to go. Well.
Yeah, he was going to go over to the practice tee, hit some balls, and take his time. Doesn't want to have to rush. Lenny's a routine player. He does things very much in a routine.
Tiger makes the walk. Tiger's first ever round in competition at Augusta. He was here as an amateur. He's a young student at Stanford, coming off his U.S. amateur win, having qualified for Augusta. His first round ever. He played with Jose Maria. Olafable with 2 green jackets of his own back in that opening round of 95. Chima showed Tiger a little 66. So the Faldo Nicholas Woods mark is still shared by just the 3. And Tiger trying to take it alone with 3 straight. Jack back-to-back 65, 66. When he went for 3 straight in 67, he missed the cut. Had to wait around the weekend to give the green jacket to Gabe Brewer, a man he had beaten in the playoff the year before. Faldo finished 12th in his bid for 3 in a row back in '91. But those 3 will keep the record together. Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, out to 17.
Mike Weir, straight down the middle of the fairway, 147 yards to go.
What are you going to land? 46. It's 46. Yeah. Okay. 46. Yeah.
Perfect. That's a good thing for the caddy to say just before the player pulls the club. And we'll watch this unusual pre-shot routine that he deserted last year, played poorly, went back to it after missing the cut at the United States Open at Bethpage. Picked up this lengthy backswing routine from Nick Price.
Go hard. Go, baby.
Very, very safe. Conscious of anything to the right of the cup running off the green, but that is a very, very fast putt. Any misjudgment, he'll be well past. Not taking advantage of a good tee shot at the 18th.
This was earlier. Tiger's 3rd. Now live with Olafable. Who has had the better of it in this matchup today.
This is for birdie to move back into red figures.
Would have been only the 2nd birdie of the day here. O'Meara's stands alone. Always a dangerous player here. Tiger sought his attention out over at the Players of tournament a few weeks ago to help him with his sand game. Mesmerized by how much spin Jose can get on his sand shots. Closing par, Tiger. 75. And there's Jim McLean, longtime teacher for Lynn Matisse, sitting and observing his student over on the range.
Jim, a former University of Houston player whose son will go to Wake Forest next year. Jim?
Yeah, you had to nudge me with that one, didn't you? On a few championship teams of his own at Houston. Over at 17.
Mike Weir has taken a lot of time, looked at this putt from all angles. He had a bogey-free round in the first round. Bogey-free so far today. Watch him coax this across the slope. What a putt. Slow down. Look how fast it's gone by, just far enough to be a concern. A great effort. Very slippery around the cup. You can sense the competitive nature, even though he's got a missable putt, still making a remark to his caddy, composing himself. And this came very close. He was exactly pin high, had a chance. And then he realizes it's gone almost 4 feet by. Jeff Maggott, after his 8 at the par 3 12th, has managed to birdie the last 3 holes. Incredible round for Maggott. This for a birdie. He made a 7 at the shortest par 4 on the course, an 8 at the shortest par 3. Still is -2 in 5th place. Now Mike Weir. If there is a playoff, it will start on the 10th hole. Sudden death. As many holes as it takes around the second 9 at Augusta National. 2 very long par 4s to start. Let's take care of business here first, and a 465-yard par 4 coming up. What a beautiful stroke. Lovely rhythm, makes his par to tie. And quickly to Bill McAtee.
All right, Peter, thank you very much with Phil Mickelson. And I have to think that was going through your mind when it went into 2 that maybe this was the day.
I thought all week that I'd have a very good chance. I came in very calm and looking forward to this week's tournament. I felt that I would be in contention on Sunday, and I was pleased with today's round. I thought that 68 would give me a really good chance at winning, and obviously Lenny and Mike, we were running away with it. But I was pleased with the way I played this weekend.
Was there a moment out there when you said to yourself, well, it looks like this is not going to happen for me?
The only time that I really knew that I wasn't going to win was walking up to 17 green when Lenny made par there and was 8 under heading into the last hole. I felt if I went birdie 6 under was the best I could do, and so I figured that it was over there. But I was still trying. I still thought maybe he could make double, and he almost did. But I didn't birdie the last 2, so it wouldn't matter.
Does it become increasingly difficult to walk off the 18th green in contention yet again, but still not able to capture that first major championship?
Well, you can't look at success in winning or losing terms. I felt that I was very successful this weekend. I came out and played a good round today. I putted great on these greens. I feel very comfortable on these greens now, and I felt it was a successful day, even though in terms of wins and losses it was a loss. And you just can't look at success as whether or not you win or lose compared to the other guys in the field, because you can't control what they do. But I felt that I played well for me and played a good final round and had a shot. I thought 5 under would have a legitimate shot at winning.
All right, Phil, thank you very much. Let's send you back to Jim Nantz.
And then Matisse, again under the watchful eye of Jim McLean, who made the cut here. McLean is an amateur in the 72 Masters.
And out there trying to get relaxed. I know Jim McLean right now is probably talking about anything but the playoff, anything about other than what went on today. Just how do you feel, Lynn? Let's see what your swing looks like and really focus on that alone, not trying to get into what may take place in the next hour.
There weren't many poor swings out there, except maybe the tee shot at 18.
Probably just a poor decision.
If there is a playoff, it'll begin, a sudden death playoff, it'll begin at 10. And that means Weir would make 4.
And this hole sets up extremely well for Mike Weir. He moves it from left to right as his natural shot. He should be able to take it right at that second bunker and hammer it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
The ultimate masterful performance is to birdie the final hole to win the Masters. The first to accomplish that feat was Arnold Palmer in 1960. It wouldn't happen again for another 28 years when Scotland's Sandy Lyle made birdie to win in 1988. What a comeback. 10 years later, little did Marco Mira know he was eyeing that moment of a lifetime, a birdie at the final hole to win the Masters. It's happened only 3 times in Augusta National history.
A birdie to win. That's the scenario for Mr. Weir. And Tiger Woods is with Peter Costas. Peter.
Thank you, Jim. Tiger, your bid for 3 in a row comes up short. What had to change for you to be able to compete a little bit more this weekend?
Play a little bit better. I got off to a ideal start. I was 2 under. I started 1 under through 2, and just made a mental blunder over there on 3, and ended up costing me a lot on Big Mo.
If you had to do over again, would you still hit driver, or was it just a bad swing?
No, it was a bad decision. I mean, I wanted to hit iron, but Stevie said it was a better play from down below. Easy pitch with the green being so soft and everything so soft. So I went with it, but it was ultimately it's a player's call, and consequently I actually made the wrong decision there.
Yesterday you got it going, and today when you came out, your expectations were to shoot what? I
figured 65 would win the tournament. I thought it was very reminiscent to 86 when I was Jack was 4 back and I'm 4 back going into today, and I figured 65 would probably be the number to get it done, especially considering when we first started out going off here how soft and how slow the greens were. They're slower than they were yesterday, which was kind of a surprise.
Well, you've been a great champion. You are a great champion, and we'll see you at the ceremony.
You got it. Thanks, Peter.
Back up to 18.
All right, thank you. Tiger, the last player to have won here in his first professional appearance. Matisse trying to do that. Tiger had played here as an amateur. Matisse, again, back in the 80s, played here as an amateur once off the Walker Cup team. That was what qualified him back then. But Mike Weir has the tournament in his hands. 3 to win, 4 for the playoff. Jeff Maggart is at 2 under, 5th alone. He's had enough of the warm-up.
Probably go over and hit a couple of putts, actually, and just try and get a little bit of feel back. You would like to keep in your routine that you start every round with before you go to the playoff. This is 4-iron for Jeff Maggart.
Maggart, after that disaster over there at 12, has actually come back with 3 birdies, 14, 15, and 16.
He's going to play 16 wonderful holes today. But Mike Weir now looking at 199 to the hole. I do not think he can fly it on top with his ball flight and keep it near the hole. He needs to hit a driving 4-iron and hit it into the upslope to get this close.
He's trying to stay up, but it won't.
Got it a little too high and too soft. Got just ahead of it, hitting it up the hill, and it was never the driving flight he needed.
How hard is that for 2 putts?
That's very difficult. Number 1, Jim, this is a pin placement we have not seen before. The players haven't practiced it. They didn't expect to see a pin here, and I'm not sure that they'll be able to read it correctly. Haven't seen many putts made here at all today.
And how difficult has it been to be out there playing 16, 17, now 18, just not able to make a single mistake because you know it'll cost you the tournament.
Well, he's just been right in it. Mike's a gritty competitor. He's just staying right after it.
Looks like Maggart is outside of him, which would help.
That's a close call right now. I think that's an honest one right now. We can't tell from this position.
And the tournament champion has come out of this final pairing in the last 12 years. Matisse hopes to end that streak. Weir's always had the goal of surpassing George Knudsen's 8 PGA Tour victories, most by a Canadian, late George Knudsen, who was a co-runner-up here in 1969. Casper and Weiskopf, 1 stroke behind George Archer. Charles in 63 at the British, the only lefty to win a major.
Where he beat Phil Rogers in a playoff. Interesting that the only other one that won was in a playoff at Lytham St. Anne's.
You were right about Matisse, the Eisenhower cabin on your right. Back there, tucked away, is Butler cabin, where one player will have the coronation of his career.
Well, you like to keep things in a routine. Lenny's big into routines, and he is just going through what he would do to get ready to go play a round of golf. So he walks to the 10th tee for the playoff in his normal routine.
They looked it over, and it is, in fact, Maggart away.
And I would think Mike Weir would really watch the speed of this putt.
Will give him a good read. That was a great stroke.
That will, and you saw how hard Jeff Maggart hit that putt. And it's only about 8 inches past the hole.
He has this for 75. And to think he lost 8 strokes on 2 holes. A triple and quintuple.
Very gritty performance by Jeff Maggart. He really fought back hard.
He finishes 5th alone. Speaking of alone, this game that is practiced and played in solitude so often. Everyone out here learned the game just pounding balls, practicing putting. With no one around. Just you and your dreams. Teese knows that he'll get the answer. I'm just listening.
Len just took his driver out like he's ready to go to the 10th tee.
Well, before that happens, Weir can close it right here. Gotta go.
It's got to go. I was really struck by how hard Jeff Maggart hit his putt. I thought he'd hit it 6 feet past, and he only went 8 inches past. Mike Weir has a good 6 feet left for his par.
This is the length that, aside from that 9-hole stretch late in the day yesterday, he has looked as steady and confident as they come.
One of the toughest things here is to read this putt correctly. Even for players who've played here a number of years, they've not seen this pin. They haven't had a chance to even practice it, even assume that there would be a pin in this position.
This one putt for a playoff.
What a stroke.
It'll be Mike Weir and Len Matisse. The first playoff at Augusta since 1990.
And watch how firm he hits this in the center.
And that's as good as you can do it. You just don't need that haunting you the rest of your career. Everyone reminding you that you three-putted the 72nd hole at Augusta. Right in the gut. The first sudden death playoff in Masters history. Sudden death, that is, claimed by Fuzzy in '79. Stadler, who came back from a first round 75, the highest ever by an eventual champion, beat Dan Pohl in '82. The Mize, Norman, and Seve three-way battle that actually ended up with just the two in '87. And then Faldo with the arms in identical fashion raised to the heavens, winning on the 11th green in '89 and '90. Dick Enberg looks back at the history here.
Masterful performances. There's been 5 sudden death playoffs at Augusta National. The first in 1979, the winner Fuzzy Zoeller.
There's your champion.
Then in '82, Dan Pohl succumbed to Craig Stadler. Not to be. 1987, Larry Mize's remarkable chip against Greg Norman.
How's that look?
Oh! 1989, Nick Faldo won his first of 3 green jackets with this 20-foot laser. And Faldo would follow up with another playoff victory the very next year as Raymond Floyd, second at 11, went astray. Nick Faldo with a Masters to remember in 1990, the last playoff at Augusta.
Well, we are playoff bound again at Augusta. Will Nicholson explaining.
They will draw 2 numbers out of the hat. Actually, only 1 is needed. Lenny Matisse drew. If he drew number 1, he will hit first. If he had drawn number 2, he would have hit second. Mike Weir would have hit first.
Any preference for you?
Oh, I would always want to go first.
Stay real still. We got shadows here, okay? Thanks.
And they're trying to get the shadows out of the way. The patrons have gotten up a little closer to the tee. The sun is a little lower in the sky, so we've got shadows that we haven't experienced before.
That's a good point. Any movement as you stand over it and draw it back can be a distraction you don't need. There's enough already pressure in the air. I thought maybe he'd step away from it, but no.
It might actually be shadows from the patrons or from the ball washer, whatever is next to the tee. The bench over there.
Lanny, we saw Weir's record. One of those playoff wins happened this year at Riviera. Playoff win over Charles Howell. Matisse's one playoff battle was back in '96 here in the state of Georgia. He lost in the Buick Challenge to Michael Bradley.
Then you're trying to take it right down the center and turn it from right to left. Catch that power slot. And it did just that. That is a big drive.
We back these shadows just up a little bit, please. Coming over in the corner, guys.
Well, Mike will be able to put those shadows to his back.
Shadows, guys. Can you either bend down or just back up a little bit, please?
You prefer that right side to set up.
Well, it's a severe dogleg left, and especially for a left-hander whose natural shot goes left to right, this is a more difficult shot for Mike Weir. This is not his natural shot.
When he came through here the first time today, he uncorked a good one, and you thought this was not a hole that really suited his eye.
No, it isn't.
Great shot.
Plus a fade is a softer shot, which this is a fade from Mike Weir, so Good chance it will hit and be short of Lynn Matisse's drive. Not much, though. Right there, same spot. Excellent tee shots.
Well, Lanny, let's again reacquaint everyone with the 10th. Camellia. The all-time toughest hole here at Augusta.
Need to hit it down the right-hand side, catch the power slot 25 yards wide right here. Want to catch this power slot. Slopes downhill from right to left. Almost a 90-foot drop from the tee to the green. Bunker here in the center that is not in play. The green is still below you on your second shot. Sloping severely from right to left. The pin today is in the back left.
And that 97-foot drop from tee to green. Look at Matisse. Well, you don't think he minds coming over here with birdie? Rounds 3 and 4. Remember the one earlier, the Crenshaw facsimile.
Notice the change in the shadows from earlier today to what they are now, Jim. They'll be putting basically back in sunlight when they get back around the hole. Much easier to see the line.
And even though he was cruising along beautifully on that front nine, when he holed that putt, that was the first time there was any real suggestion that maybe this was his day.
Well, he had already holed a wonderful pitch at the 8th hole, one that he did not expect to make, and then to make the one at 10. I mean, that's two that you just found that you were not expecting to get. But then he continued on and made wonderful swings the rest of the way. Hit the ball in play every hole. Good solid irons right at the pin. Just looked completely in control of this game until the miscue at the 18th off the tee.
And even with that final hole bogey, his 65 was the low round of the day by 3. That's pretty significant stuff. You look at Weir 68, Mickelson and Furyk 68. Those were the second best efforts out here on a Sunday at Augusta, where there were so many promising prospects coming in. David Toms never got it going. 74 to finish even. Tiger 75. Beam had that double bogey back at 13. Learning here in his first trip to Augusta. Sergio had a spark in that first round, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and an excellent performance by Hunter Mahan.
3 amateurs in all making the cut here. There's Ryan Moore of UNLV. He holed a wedge shot this week for Eagle at 13, the United States Public Links champion. So back out here at 10. You know, you talk about courses that really expose what kind of player you are. And everyone out here will tell you how much it means to win on some of the classical courses in golf, like Riviera. And we have here the last 2 winners from LA, the last 2 to win at Hogan's Alley, and I think it says something about Riviera.
Well, Riviera is just a marvelous test of golf, and you must maneuver your ball around Riviera if you're going to win, and you must now maneuver your ball around Augusta National if you expect to win here.
Interesting little move. When he first stepped up to it, he tucked the sleeve under the left arm.
He's done that all day. It's must have a shirt that doesn't fit quite right.
Maybe a little technical reminder. That left.
It's well left. Over into the second cut. Might even be right behind a tree.
Looks like he might be stymied. Now that you know that, and you're Mike Weir, you change your approach to this shot?
Well, you take it straight at the center of the green, which is what you would want to do anyway, unless he'd hit it just stiff. He knows the green slopes from the right to the left, so he needs to aim this about 15 to 20 feet just to the right of the hole and try and make a nice solid pass. And that's 6-iron.
Wants it to carry.
And he's left that a long way short. He's got 45, 50 feet coming up the hill with a significant move from right to left.
Still huge advantage Weir. As Matisse, you've got to see now what the angle is. That pine tree looks like it could definitely be problematic here for Mr. Matisse. You could tell right away really by Matisse's reaction.
It didn't sound or look like a solid strike.
See anything in that swing?
Didn't really see anything in that swing other than he just didn't quite catch it solidly. I think he was trying to hit a draw, aiming at the right center of the green, turn it over, and probably just overcooked it.
Well, you got to think if Weir can two-putt from down below at 18, he can find a way to coax that one up there close, make a 4.
I think everything depends on what kind of angle Lynn has for his pitch shot. Is he completely stymied by the tree? If he can get at the hole, he should be able to get this up around. But as you can see, the tree is right between him and the hole. I think he's got to take this to the right of the tree and leave himself an uphill putt. He's got to get himself in a position and give himself a chance. You cannot take the approach that Mike Weir is going to make his putt or that he is going to two-putt. You need to put this on the green, give yourself a chance at making your 4. This is the one thing he has to do right now, is don't mess up here and have to work for 5. At least give yourself a chance.
Well, it was a poor shot, but this is a very bad break.
Now, he won't want to hit this very hard. You want to get it actually just on the green about 10 or 15 feet. You don't want to get it past the hole from this angle. Then it will become a slick downhill, bigger breaking putt.
Not only does he have to aim away from the hole, but once it hits the surface, it'll continue to go away toward the front.
He's got to bump this into the ground short. Hole. That's what he did not want to do right there. That is a much tougher putt than if he had just gotten it over the edge of the fringe.
Has taken the flagstick out for his man Mike Weir. This team, these two, player and caddy, best of friends since they were teens. They played junior golf together, even played the Canadian tour together. Brennan has worked for Mike since he came through the qualifying school. It's quite a partnership.
And now the toughest thing for Mike Weir is to judge the speed. It's coming uphill. It's going to move significantly from his right to his left, putting out of the shadows back into the sunlight. A little bit more uphill than normal. And this green generally is quicker than most on the course. Sits back in the trees, and the grass is just a little thinner here than the majority of the other greens.
This for the win. It's a beautiful putt. Oh, my goodness. Look at this.
That's what I'm saying. There's speed there that you just don't see on this green. I've always felt this is one of the most difficult greens to judge the pace of any on the golf course.
And if you want to know what he has coming back, just look how much it breaks past the hole.
It's right on the line, just a little hard. He hit this putt very solid, and it just kept going. Now, Lenny Matisse has a big decision to make. Do I try and make this putt, or do I want to just roll it in the hole? He would like it to go in last turn falling in, because this is a putt he could be further away than Mike Weir very easily. Very easy to run this putt 8-10 feet by the hole. This putt goes significantly from his right to his left, is back downhill. He has to set this out to the right some 2 to 3 feet.
Before he really built a reputation a year ago as a champion golfer with 2 wins, this was his calling card right here, putting.
Lenny, come on, get in.
Easy. And he hasn't lost his turn.
No, he's hit that almost off the green, 18 feet by the hole. I think Lenny took the approach that he felt like he had to make that putt, and he just it's just not what he wanted. It's just major disappointment for Len Matisse right now.
You know, you play under control all day until you get to 18. And he had to hole a rather significant size putt at the 18th.
But he's out there playing all day, Jim, and then he had to sit and think about what he was actually going to do, that he was going to be in a playoff for the Masters, and it is more than Len has experienced before, and it's obviously he has not handled it well to this point yet. So I'm sure that he and Jim McLean were trying to get their mind on something else, but this putt has to go in.
If he doesn't make it, Weir only has to 2-putt to win. This for 5. He went for that one too. Well, he knows now. This is going to be Mike Weir's Masters. He's 2 putts away from the green jacket.
And this one will go back downhill when he gets back up to the hole, and it will move from his left to his right. And I do not expect this one to be going very fast when it gets to the hole.
I expect he'll make it. It'll be good enough. The green jacket is going north of the border. Mike Weir has won the Masters. This is one player, Lanny, that coming into the week, no one would have been surprised, even though he hadn't won a major, if someone would have told them that it would be Mike Weir's week.
No, he's already had a magnificent start to this year, winning twice at the Bob Hope and L.A. And particularly at L.A. is such a significant win on a wonderful golf course. And for Mike to step in here and hang tough all week, he's been around the lead all week. His wife
Canada has its first ever major championship. Grisha celebrating. They met at BYU. Well, he said this week, you know, you learn something a time or two here. The week is so exhausting and so many people want to be part of it all. But he had always rented the same house. This year, he rented that house, brought all of his friends and family to stay in it. Meanwhile, he stayed in a hotel. Only took a 5 to win the playoff. Some of those champion golfers of Canada that you must think about right now. The great George Knudsen, the late George Knudsen. Dave Barr came close. There were others.
Yeah, Stan Leonard, Al Balding, all wonderful players. Canada's had some great champions over the years. Gary Cowan won 2 U.S. amateurs.
No one before today from Canada could ever lay claim to a feat this large.
By there, you see her see it, and I think she would. She just went this way.
Mike Weir grew up
to paved road.
trying to play hockey.
Where's Brees?
A little too diminutive. He was told to pursue that sport to its fullest extent.
And Mr. Boardman has all right, all right. She is covered. She's covered? Come on, Jimmy.
I'm sorry about that.
Duck your head, guys.
Like most young kids growing up in Ontario and all across the great country of Canada, Wayne Gretzky was the hero. He had one real close brush, played in the final group of the PGA in '99 with Tiger, shot 80 to finish 10th, and when the round ended a few days later, he got a surprise phone call from his boyhood idol. Gretzky called him and said, "Hey, there will be other days."
And he's obviously learned very well from that experience. What a gritty competitor, hung tough the last 2 days, either leading or right at the lead the entire time. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of tough days physically and mentally out here with all the conditions and the delays that they've been through this week.
Well, I just think again about what it took to par 16, 17, and 18, knowing you couldn't let one stroke slip away. There weren't going to be a lot of birdies to be found in that closing stretch. 18, again, had been birdied only once. And par the 3 he did.
Not to mention playing a wonderful third shot to 15 to set up the birdie needed to tie. He just looked in complete control all day today, where he got out of his rhythm the second 9 yesterday. He was back on track today.
And we tracked it yesterday how in his 5 previous wins they had all been come from behind victories. And once more, make number 6 the exact same. Lynn Matisse, 65 today. It did remarkable things until the playoff. And now Mike Weir will head to Butler Cabin for the green jacket. And we will too, to Dick Enberg.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations to Mike Weir and Len Matisse, the round of his golfing life, and yet it falls short in our 6th playoff in Masters history. I was struck with the magic about the number 3 this past week. You know, good and bad things do seem to occur in 3s, and there's no denying for Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson and Mike Weir and Len Matisse and the rest of the field here at the Masters. That has been the operative number at the 2003 Masters.
The superb weather today clouds memories of our opening round washout on Thursday. First time in 65 years, the Masters opening round canceled by rain. What a remarkable effort to get the course ready for play. 4 rounds in 3 days. 3 days, and the world's #1 couldn't create another milestone title. A portent. Tiger Woods was 3 feet of precarious downhill from not even making the cut at this storied site, first opened in 1933. So Woods settles for 3 Masters wins. The first came in his 3rd appearance, and even a 3